Life is meant to be experienced. You'll have good experiences as well as bad ones. One day you'll be achieving so much, and the next day you might be depressed. You'll have good people in your life, and at the same time, you'll meet toxic people in your life. Many times, we end up falling in love with those toxic people. I'm sure you have also experienced this situation in your life. You loved that person truly. You did so many things for them, and yet they left you for no apparent reason. I know you are depressed and feel like giving up, but trust me, if you aren't willing to move on and let them go, you're making a huge mistake. You need to start focusing on your future instead of crying over your past mistakes. Maybe the person you love deeply left you or might have cheated on you. There could be any reason, and you want that person to still stay in your life. Trust me, you're doing it all wrong. You need to let them go. There is no comforting way to say that. These are just 3 simple words. Let them go. If you have already done everything you could do and said everything you could say, and that person still wants to go, here's the single most important thing you can do now to improve your life. Let them go. You have taken care of them and supported them in their difficult times, sacrificed your own happiness for them, fought with other people for them. If that person still doesn't want to stay in your life, you need to understand that you cannot force them to stay. Just let them go. All those sleepless nights and stressful days will be forgotten once you move on. You will start doing wonders and will be proud of yourself one day for letting that person go. Think about it. Does a person deserve your attention if they didn't realize your importance? Should you keep crying for a person who has moved on and is living a happy life? Should you beg that same person who hurt you? No. You need to forget that person and start moving on with your life. Go out and take a holiday. Spend a night out with yourself. Spend some time with your parents and children. You'll realize there are so many people around you who deserve your attention, your love, and your care. Crying for that person who left you is draining you of your mental strength. It is keeping you from achieving success. It is making you forget your own self-worth. I know it can be hard to move on if you've known a person for a long time, if you've spent some of your best moments of your life with them, if you've felt loved by that person once in your life. It is okay to cry, but don't keep crying for them for the rest of your life. Do not destroy your mental peace for just one person. You have no idea how amazing and beautiful you are. You are ruining everything for just one person. Ask yourself, are you doing the right thing? Is that person worth your tears? I know you have become weaker. It is extremely difficult for you to move on, but you probably don't have an idea of how strong and powerful you are. Think of all those things you have achieved in your life. If you keep worrying and crying and stressing over that person, how can you start focusing on your life? Let them go. Forgive them. But most importantly, forgive yourself. Don't hurt yourself for someone else. You really want to see the light, right? But you aren't letting go of the darkness of your past decisions. If you don't let them go, they will keep ruining your life until you reach a point where you won't be able to do anything. You need to make a decision today. Decide to free yourself from that heavy weight. Decide to forgive yourself. Decide to be happy and inspire others. And decide to enjoy your life to the fullest. Trust me, you are really strong enough to do all of that. The amazing people you see in your life who are living a happy life are not lucky. Those are the ones who decided not to let one person, one situation, and one bad decision ruin their entire life. They decided to be strong and move on quickly. They decided to eliminate negativity from their life and decided not to seek sympathy from anyone. They decided to focus on what good is going on in their life, and that is exactly what you need to do right now. Let me tell you one thing. Everything cannot be perfect in your life at one time. You will have to be happy with the little things you've got in your life. You will have to let go. You will have to move on. You need to understand that everything happens for a reason, and I strongly believe that the bad times come to teach us some of the most important lessons of our lives. Think of all those bad things that have happened in your life, and you'll realize that those circumstances made you a better person. You learned some of the most important things due to those situations. Ever wonder why letting go of someone is so hard? Well, that holding on is natural. Humans tend to hold on due to the fact that it fulfills their need for certainty. Letting go of someone you have loved entails uncertainty. Even if your relationship was toxic, it still had some certainty that was giving you comfort. But the thing is, you need to understand that holding on harms you. It stops you from reaching your goals, and not knowing how to move on prevents you from reaching your true potential. Learn when it is time to move on. You need to identify those limiting beliefs. You need to change the way you tell that story to yourself. Don't tell yourself that your past relationship was unsuccessful because of you. It didn't end because of you. And please stop the blame game. Yes, I know that it is completely natural to point a finger at someone else or a situation for your current hardships in your life, but it is not necessary to blame anyone. Your partner might have been wrong, or you might have been wrong, or the situation wasn't right for both of you. But the thing is, it won't benefit you if you keep thinking of those things. Simply let them go and move on with your life. You have a long journey ahead, which will be ruined if you don't start controlling your emotions. Once you become a master at controlling your emotions, you will be able to unlock the life you truly deserve. In the end, I would say that tomorrow is another day to conquer this world, and you can do miracles. Go out and conquer this world. Let them realize what they have lost. It's their loss, not yours.
Most people are living their lives from a heart place and not a head place. They are so engrossed with what the heart feels that they have not covered what the head thinks. Most people are governed by their emotions. They're having a heart experience in a head fight. You will never win a battle if you're having a heart experience in a head fight. Real decisions that move your life along are not coming out of your emotions, they're coming out of your head. Real opportunities that God would open up for you have to come out of your head and not out of your feelings. There are so many people that are so abstract and they're just moving along from day to day out of their emotions and their feelings. I don't know, I'm just not feeling it today. And every time you do it, you're canceling out opportunities. A person who does not function out of their head is a person without government. A person who moves totally out of their emotions is exempt from the greater opportunity than life, because you will forfeit what God has given you because of how you feel.
The Bible says in 1 Corinthians, we are unspiritual when we're under the control of ordinary impulses. And that's the way so many people are today. They just let their feelings run their lives. If they feel like getting upset, then they're upset. If they feel like telling somebody off, they just tell them off. They feel like being lazy, they're lazy. They feel like being depressed, and they go around all depressed. But friends, we cannot just act on these emotional impulses and expect to have any kind of victory in our lives. And throughout life, you're going to have plenty of opportunities to lose your temper and say things you regret. You're going to get up some mornings and feel like being depressed, feel like going around in a bad mood. At times you'll get caught in traffic and feel like being impatient, feel like getting upset. See, the feelings are always going to be there. But we've got to learn how to follow wisdom and do what we know is right and not just follow our feelings around. I heard somebody say, I can feel my emotions rising, but I made a decision not to get on board. And that's a good way to look at it. Just because you can feel those emotions doesn't mean you have to get on board. And to be disciplined means to do the right thing when you feel like doing the wrong thing. When you feel like saying something that you know you shouldn't say, no, don't get on board. When somebody offends you and you feel like holding a grudge, no, discipline that emotion and learn to forgive them anyway. I mean, how many times have we acted on our emotions and said something that we know we shouldn't say, and later on, it ends up hurting us in that relationship? How many people today act on their emotions and they get involved in a relationship outside of their marriage, and later on, it ends up tearing the whole family apart? And the Scripture says in Hebrews 12:11, no discipline at the time is pleasant, but later on, it's going to bring you a harvest of great things. And we need to be more concerned about later on than we are just feeling good right now. If you live on that shallow level of just always letting your flesh have its way, and I can tell you later on, you're going to have some major regrets. Because the seeds we sow today, we're going to reap in the future. If you allow yourself to just go around being upset and impatient and stressed out, later on it's going to catch up to you. Later on it's going to affect your health. If you go around rude and disrespectful, just always speaking your mind, later on you're not going to have any kind of meaningful relationships. If you just are loose in your morals and you just do whatever you feel like doing, well, it may give you some pleasure at the time, but later on, it's going to cost you a very heavy price. If you had a problem with your temper 10 years ago, and you have that same exact problem today, I can tell you that's keeping you from God's best. If you were impatient and easily upset 5 years ago, and you're at that same place today, that's keeping God from increasing you. If you would just do your part and grow up a little bit and quit being ruled by your feelings, quit acting on these emotional impulses, if you do that, that's when God will begin to increase you.
Your brain is divided into two halves, positive and negative, good and evil. It don't function on nothing else. Ain't no neutral ground in your brain. It's either positive and good or negative and evil. Each half of your brain has millions of factory workers on each side. You got 1 million factory workers on the positive side. You got 1 million factory workers on the negative side. At the forefront of each one of those factories in your brain is a foreman. You got foreman positive and you got foreman negative. You are in charge. You're the boss of the factory. Guess what? We are how we think. You can't make a world, but you can make your own world. So now, since your brain is in two halves, let me show you how this works. You wake up in the morning and you say, man, I don't feel myself today. I got up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm not a morning person. Foreman negative hears that. He steps to the front. He said, what did you say? You say, I said I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. I'm not myself. I'm not a morning person. He says, you got it right away. He said, hey, the boss just woke up and said he's not a morning person. He's having a bad day today, and he ain't feeling himself. Let's get to work. The 1 million factory workers start producing thoughts to justify what you just said. So now guess what? Man, I hate my alarm clock went off this morning. I got to get out here in this traffic. I'm gonna drive down here today. I don't even like these people on my job. I can't stand this car I'm finna get in this morning. Sure wish I had a new car, but I'm driving this ragged ass car. And on and on and on. And your day starts tumbling into what you ordered at the top of the day. You could wake up in the morning and you say, you know what? Today is gonna be a great day today. I expect something really good to happen for me today. He said, what did you say? You say, I said I'm having a great day today. I expect something good to happen today. Foreman Positive turns around and goes, all right, let me have your attention. Steve's having a great day today. He's expecting some wonderful things to happen. And man, let's get it going. And they start manufacturing thoughts. Same brain. Man, I can't wait to go to work today. It may not be the job I want, but at least I got a job. I'm so grateful I got a car to drive to work today. Hey man, at least I got a check coming in. I appreciate the fact that I don't have a car, but at least I can walk to the train. Man, this is gonna be great today. That's how your mind works 24/7. It never turns off. Change your attitude, you change your altitude.
A lot of people would say, I love myself. Do you really love yourself? Are the things that you're doing and the people that you're hanging out with and the places and the circles that you're traveling in, does that reflect a person that actually loves himself? If you love yourself, why would you fuck with those type of people? You know what they're saying about you behind your back. You know that they don't like you. And because you're so desperate to have people around you, you continue to go back. I'm not preaching separatism. I want a bunch of people to just be alone. I'm saying you are old enough and mature enough to understand the difference in good people and bad people.
You want to begin to get all the toxic people out of your life. Toxic relationships are relationships with people that always criticize you. All they can do is just exploit your weaknesses. All they can do is remind you of the mistakes that you've made in the past. Toxic people can run your blood pressure up. I know people whose lives have been ruined because somebody wasn't good for them.
You cannot expect yourself to feel good about your day when you're including negative and dysfunctional people in your day.
You run around with losers, you will end up a loser. Unconsciously, you will pick up their ways, you'll pick up their habits, you'll pick up, most importantly, their attitude about life. If you're around cynical, negative people all the time, you will become cynical and negative. So you got to watch yourself. Many of us are living out the lives of other people, living out their conclusions, living out of their consciousness. Align yourself with people that can encourage you, people that can empower you, people that you can learn from, people that you can grow from. That's very important. See, if you have people around you that can contribute to your growth, see, it's easy to be on the bottom. It doesn't take any effort to be a loser. It doesn't take any motivation, any drive in order to stay down there on a low level. But it calls on everything in you, ladies and gentlemen. You have to harness your will to say, I'm going to challenge myself. Sometimes I have to pull myself out of bed and say, come on, Les. Things I know I should do, I don't do. Things I shouldn't do, I do.
You don't wake up in the morning and negativity, dysfunction, problems, and issues just randomly pop up. Because these are the type of people you've decided to include in your day-to-day life.
So you got to look at the people in your life and find out, what kind of person are you becoming because of that relationship? My mother used to say, you run around with losers, you will end up a loser.
God put people in your life for a reason. Others are there for a season. And it's very important that you recognize when people's seasons are over.
Make a list of who you communicate with most and ask yourself the question, what kind of person am I becoming because of this relationship?
Some people just don't really make sense for your life and the new season, the mind and the space that you're in. So if you had drugged that person, those family members, those situations into the new season of your life wouldn't be going as well as it's going right now.
My mother being a Sunday school teacher, teaching me about prayer and God, that was really helpful to me, you know. I mean, if you really want to be successful, you gotta have a lot of dog in you. You gotta be mean sometimes, because life ain't fair. Life is hard, man. It is not fair. Like you have happened to you that just, you go, man, why this happened? Because life ain't fair. But life ain't fair to nobody. You just gotta fight through, man. You gotta bite back sometime. It's like haters. When you get haters, you know, people's opinion of you is none of your business. I have lots of haters. They on the internet all the time. But who are they though? So I don't give them no energy. I give haters no energy. Steve ain't this, he think he this. You don't even know me. So I just keep going through. But then I tell you something too, haters motivate me. Because when they talking about me, that means I'm doing something. If you have no haters, if you don't have any haters, you ain't doing nothing, man.
Sometimes God will let us go through seasons where we're not getting what we expect from people, to teach us to not rely on another person, but to get our encouragement, our worth from Him. Like a mother weans a baby off a bottle so the child can grow up, God is going to wean you off having to have people's compliments. Doesn't mean it's never going to happen. It means you're going to get to a place where you're not dependent on them complimenting you, keeping you encouraged. It's nice to hear, but you've developed this self-sufficiency. Because the higher God takes you, there will be more disapproval, more opposition, more critics. If you're basing your worth on how people are treating you, you're trying to keep all of them happy, you'll never become everything God created you to be. Quit trying to please people. You are not going to stand before people and give an account. You're going to stand before God. He's going to ask, did you fulfill my purpose for your life? The less you depend on people, the stronger your spiritual muscles are going to become and the higher you're going to go. God is going to give you victories where the odds were totally against you. You could overcome that obstacle if you had the strongest players. God is saying, don't worry about it. You don't have to have all those people. You and God are a majority. If you'll quit depending on people, the anointing will increase in your own life. You'll accomplish more with less people because of God's favor on your life. Are you discouraged because people are not giving you what they used to? It's because God's growing you up. Quit trying to get from people what only God can give. If you'll start passing these tests, not relying on people, you'll not only live more confident, more secure, you're going to overcome obstacles that looked insurmountable and reach the fullness of your destiny.
The fact that you're still alive and still on this earth, even though it's been challenging and rough, God has a plan. God is going to reveal to you why all of these issues, challenges, and problems continue to show up and what you were supposed to learn from it. You will grow through what you go through.
What really changed my life, man, was I got in Amway when I was about 24. They introduced me to self-help books. And I read 2 books that changed my life. It was The Power of Positive Thinking and The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. But The Magic of Thinking Big was huge for me. It just taught me one simple principle. It don't cost no more energy to think big than it does small. So if the Bible is true, which it says a man is as he thinketh, if you think poor thoughts, you got to be poor. The moment you change that thought, you start the process to becoming wealthy or rich. I mean, it's really how it works. People complicate it, but the Bible's pretty plain. All you got to do is believe it's talking to you. that I come to give you life and give you life more abundantly. You don't think he talking to you? You ain't got to be rich to have an abundant life. Sometimes you just need to be healthy, happy. You don't need a few million. I did, but to be honest, it didn't make me happy. It really didn't. Need God to be happy. I'm just telling y'all from a hood perspective what I did to get here. If you don't believe me, you ain't got to. But I made it.
We wonder why we don't have any strength, why we can't get ahead. It's because our thoughts are limiting us. You can't think defeat and have victory. Your life is going to follow your thoughts. You need to think power thoughts. Victory starts in our mind. Breakthroughs, new levels, depends on our thinking. I'm worried about my finances. I'm stressed over my children. That's drawing in more negativity. You'll be amazed at what will happen if you'll start thinking power thoughts. You'll feel strength rising up, courage, determination. Proverbs 4 says, be careful what you think because your thoughts run your life. Are you thinking power thoughts, well-able thoughts, or are you thinking defeated thoughts? You're choosing which direction your life is going to go. Don't just think any thought that comes to mind. If it's negative, fearful, don't give it the time of day. Thoughts whisper, nothing good is in your future. If you dwell on that, you'll miss your destiny. When you're in tough times, the enemy will work overtime trying to convince you that the problem is too big. He knows if he can keep you defeated in your thoughts, then he can keep you defeated in your life. When thoughts tell you it's never going to change, instead of thinking those weak thoughts, turn it around. Yes, this problem is big, but I've been armed with strength for every battle. What God started in my life, he's going to finish. But if you're believing these lies that it's too much, then you're going to feel overwhelmed and you'll get stuck where you are. This is what happened to the Israelites. Moses sent 12 men to spy out the promised land. 10 came back and said, Moses, we'll never defeat them. They look like giants. We don't have a chance. God had already promised them the victory. But notice what they were thinking. Weak, limiting, fearful thoughts. Joshua and Caleb came back with a different report. Yes, the people are big, but we know our God is bigger. Joshua and Caleb weren't any bigger than the other spies. The only difference was their thinking. 10 men infected the rest of the people. They ended up wandering in the desert for 40 years. Don't get infected and miss your destiny. Like the Israelites, God has already promised you the victory. It may be tough now, but keep the right perspective. Victory is in your future. Abundance, freedom is coming your way. I'm asking you to be a Joshua. Think can-do thoughts. Think victory thoughts. Look at how big your God is. That obstacle is no match for him. When you believe, all things are possible. Get your thoughts going in the right direction. You're not fighting this battle on your own. You have the most powerful force in the universe fighting for you, keeping that sickness from taking you out, moving the wrong people out of the way. I will overcome this obstacle. I will rise out of lack and struggle. When you think like that, the creator of the universe goes to work. It's significant that the 10 spies were negative and 2 were positive. 80% of people will be negative, 20% will be positive. You can't just fit in and be afraid like everyone else, be negative like that neighbor. God is looking for some Joshuas, people that stand out, people that aren't discouraged by how big the opposition is. Negative thinking is contagious. All around us, there's negative news. Analysts telling us what could happen, how it may get much worse. It's good to be informed, but you can't let that poison stay in your spirit. Isaiah 8 says, do not think like everyone else. Do not fear anything except the Lord God Almighty. You don't have to fear the virus, fear the future. Just keep honoring God and He will keep you safe.
He'll do what medicine can't do. He'll turn that child around. When the majority is afraid, negative, you have to be on the offensive and say, no, I'm not falling into that trap. I'm going to think power thoughts. I was out riding my bike the other day, and most of the route is flat, but there's this one very big hill. I like to exercise, enjoy the challenge, but this particular day I was tired. About 10 minutes into my ride, I started thinking, I don't want to go up that hill. I don't want to have to push, wondering if I could make it up it. At one point, I received a phone call. I started talking as I was riding. About 20 minutes later, I hung up. I thought, okay, I don't want to go up that hill. When I looked around, I realized I had already gone up the hill. But because I was distracted, not convincing myself that I couldn't do it, I made it up the hill with no problem. I didn't feel any more tired. I don't even remember going up it. I wonder how many times we're telling ourselves what we can't do. We're dreading things, thinking these weak, defeating thoughts, when the truth is you have already been equipped to handle it. When God created you, He put in you everything you need to fulfill your destiny. When you get to that hill, you're going to discover, like I did, it's going to be easier than you thought. Every morning when you wake up, you need to power up. This is going to be a good day. I am strong. I am confident. I have the favor of God. I'm excited about my future.
The next thing that begins to nurture that hunger, honor yourself as your word. Don't give your word out lightly. When you throw your word out there and you don't honor it, it makes a statement about you. If you decide to maintain a sense of integrity with yourself, that if I speak it, I'm going to live it. It's who I am. And I'm going to be very cautious in how I give my word to others, and most of all with the commitments that I make to myself, because I want my life to reflect my words and honoring who I am and what I express. Another challenging area in terms of nurturing and developing that hunger in yourself is learning the art of becoming single-minded, learning how to concentrate, learning how to focus in. And you'll be surprised of the things that you're able to do. When you learn how to block things out, when you learn how to keep thine eyes single, you'll be surprised of the ideas that will come to you, of the people that you'll be able to attract, of the opportunities that you'll be able to see. You'll begin to see things that have been standing there looking you in the face, saying, I can't believe this has been here all this time.
Why would the farmer put the plow in the ground in the spring if he couldn't see the vision of the harvest when the summer is finished? Is it possible to see the finished harvest? And the answer is yes. We do that simply by faith. Key phrase, faith is the ability to see things that don't yet exist. And that's how things exist. How did this hotel get here? Someone saw it while the property was vacant. You say, well, is it possible to see this hotel when it isn't here? And the answer is yes, of course. If somebody cannot see it when it is not here, then it will never be here. So it's possible to see things that don't yet exist. Interesting. When should you start building this hotel? This is a good question for your philosophical musings. When should we start building the house? When should we start? And here's the answer. As soon as it's finished. You wouldn't start building the house until you had it finished. If you just started laying bricks and somebody came around and said, what are you doing? I said, I'm just laying bricks. And said, what are you building? And you said, I have no idea. See, they'll take you away to a safe place. So have you got that now? It's possible to finish something before you start. In fact, it would be a bit foolish to start until you had it finished. So human beings have this remarkable ability to finish something and then start. We've heard the old expression, don't count your chicks until they're hatched. No, we have the ability to count our chickens long before they're hatched. Because we know, we have faith, we believe. We use the law of averages. There's bound to be at least so many. Out of every dozen, out of every 100, out of every 50. So it's possible to see the end, then begin. Start looking into the future of what you would like to accomplish, where you would like to go, the person you would like to be. and see if you can't get a better picture of the finished objective. See yourself there. See yourself in possession of. I was in business with Bob Cummings, the old movie star, for a while. He said, decide what you want and then act as if you already had it. And being an actor, he could give us a few tips on acting. Decide what you want and act as if it was already yours. Now, the reason we can act thinking that it's already ours is because not only can we vision the end results, we can also vision the beginning of making it real. So we don't start till it's finished, but it is possible for human beings to finish something before they start.
God's will is that you prosper. That's his will. Now, the fact that you done made some adverse decisions to stop your prosperity train from happening, don't dump that on him. God comes to give you life and give you life more abundantly. God got a great life for you, man, but you got to want something. You got to want it, you got to write it down. Most people don't have what they want in life because it ain't written down nowhere. You must write the vision and make it plain so that he who reads it will run to it. And even though it tarry, that means take a long time. Wait for it, for surely it will come at an appointed time. Say no philosophy. This a fact. What you waiting on? Write it down. Put some faith on it. And then get ready to go to work. Sitting up and you can believe in God all you want, but if you don't work, man, it ain't gonna happen. Because he told you that though. He said faith without works is dead. I'm just asking you, man, to try something new. If you've tried everything, it ain't worked for you. I'm just asking you, just try writing it down. Just try writing it down. After you write it down, I want you to put some faith on it. When you put some faith on it, I want you to work for it. I want you to believe in your heart that you will have it. Now, you might not want this life. You might not want what it takes to get here. But if you want this life, you got to put in your work. You got to put it in. You got to stay prayerful. You got to never give up. You got to talk to God every day. Now, if that ain't what you want to do, then good luck. You keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. I would try something else if I was y'all.
I don't know what that dream is that you have. I don't care how far-fetched it might appear to be. I don't care how disappointing it might have been as you've been working toward that dream. But here's what I know, that dream that you're holding in your mind, that it's possible, that in the process of working on your dreams, you are going to incur a lot of disappointment, a lot of failure, a lot of pain, a lot of setbacks, a lot of defeats. But in the process of doing that, you will discover some things about yourself that you don't know right now. What you will realize is that you have greatness within you. What you'll realize is that you're more powerful than you can ever begin to imagine. What you will realize is that you are greater than your circumstances, that you don't have to go through life being a victim. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality.
Disciplines work miracles. And here's the first piece that works miracles. Number one, do what you can. Do not let neglect grab you by the throat. Don't let neglect stall you on your path toward prosperity and health, being able to become powerful, influential, rich beyond wildest imagination. Don't neglect what you can do. If you can read, read. If you can change, change. If you can grow, grow. If you can take one step, take one step. Do not neglect to do whatever you can do at the moment. Of course, you can't run a multi-billion-dollar business today. Mark couldn't either 10 years ago. Mark couldn't either 5 years ago. But I'm telling you, today he can do it because step by step, year by year, he took on what he could do. He didn't neglect it. He did the meetings he could do. He made the calls he could make. He read the books he could read. He took the classes he could take. And step by step, he got himself ready.
You've just got to make a serious study of how others are influencing you, both negatively and positively. Now, maybe the influence of all those around you is okay, but just ask yourself. It doesn't hurt to ask. Who am I around, and what are they doing to me? Maybe the people you associate with and their collective influence is okay, but then again, maybe it's not. All I'm suggesting here is that you take a close and objective look. Everything is worth a second look, especially the power of influence. Positive influence can have an incredible effect on your life, but so can negative influence. Both will take you somewhere, but only one will take you in the direction you truly wish to go. It's so easy just to dismiss the things that influence our lives. The man says, I live here, but I don't think it matters. I'm around these people, but I don't think it hurts. I would take another look at that. I've got a good phrase for you. Everything matters. Now sure, some things matter more than others, but everything matters. Everything weighs something. So you've got to keep checking to find out whether associations are tipping the scales toward the positive or toward the negative. It doesn't hurt to look, right? Ignorance is never the best policy. Finding out is the best policy. Remember, part of the purpose of this program is to get us to say, the days of kidding myself are over. I really want to know what I have become and what I am becoming. I want to know where my strengths and my weaknesses lie. What has power over me? What's influencing me? What have I allowed to affect my life? Perhaps you've heard the story of the little bird. He had his wing over his eye and he was crying. The owl said to the little bird, "You're crying." "Yes," said the little bird, and he pulled his wing away from his eye.
You got the best 2 jobs in your life. You got your dream job, son, but this is only the beginning. This is not the end. This is not where I want you to be for the rest of your life. Pain is temporary. I've been trying to get that into your spirit. I've been trying to get you to celebrate pain. Are you hearing me? I'm trying to get you to have an understanding that pain is your friend. That pain is going to take you to the next level. It's not your circumstances or your situation that determines if you're going to be successful or not. I've been telling you it's your mindset. I'm telling you, you going through pain. I know what you're feeling. I know exactly because I've been there. I've done that. But you got to work through it. Work through your pain. On the other side is a reward. Listen to me. Pain ain't permanent. Your pain ain't permanent. You can get through this. You're bigger than your pain. You're better than that. I use the pain to push me to greatness. And I'm telling you right now, don't give up. I'm telling you right now, don't give in. Get through it. And if you can get through it, if you can work through your pain, I'm guaranteeing you on the other side is a reward.
I gotta commit my very being to this thing. I gotta breathe it. I gotta eat it. I gotta sleep it. And until you get there, you'll never be successful in life. But once you get there, I guarantee you, the world is yours.
I want you to make yourself one single promise. That you never go back on your own promise to yourself ever again. And then you can go ahead and watch your life become what you actually want it to be.